Good afternoon, Coldwell Banker, and welcome to the Mile High View News You Can Use. We have an exciting lineup for you today. I'd like to start by introducing our panel. We have A.K. Riley out of our South Metro office, Jennifer Bubb out of South Metro, Lisa Sabisky out of our North Metro office, and Sherry Cook out of South Metro. Before we get to our amazing panel, I would like to give a big Mile High View welcome to the president of Colorado, Arizona, and Utah, Mr. Chris Jensen. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Tammy. It's great to be here.
It's so fun to have you. Do you notice how I put Colorado first?
I love it, and you know, I hope everybody realizes how beautiful this place is and how good you have it.
Yes, yes, we are very lucky here.
You're very lucky.
So, I understand you brought your crystal ball with you.
Well, I knew I was coming to Colorado.
Okay.
So I brought a snow globe.
Oh, you brought a snow globe.
It's going to be a good year next year.
Okay, awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you're hearing regarding market predictions moving into the second half of the year.
Okay, so Fannie Mae and Fannie Freddie and Goldman Sachs and the Mortgage Brokers Association put out a prediction or their forecast just recently, and they're saying that the third quarter we're going to see a lift of maybe 2 to 3% increased sales units across the country. And I'm happy to report that Colorado's already seen a lift. Year opens are up about 19% just in July so far. So that looks really good. And then they're predicting in the fourth quarter that we may see a 5 to 10% increase in unit sales for the fourth quarter. And that comes after they expect the Fed to meet in September and have a rate correction. So they're expecting mortgage rates in the third quarter to be around 6.7, 6.8.
Okay.
And in the fourth quarter, after the Fed meets, maybe a little closer to 6.5, 6.6, 6.7. And they're expecting home prices to continue to increase across the country 2 to 3%. So, you know, things look good, really.
Things look
Overall.
really good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Colorado. Keep selling those houses. Thank you.
Oh.
So regarding interest rates, are you seeing a shift with people being less concerned about interest rates, or are you hearing that still top of mind?
Well, it is still top of mind, but yes, we're seeing people, over time, people are starting to get fatigued with the high rates, and they've been looking to move, and so there's pent-up demand. I do believe we're going to see a rate decrease in September. But I also know that, if you're locked into a 3%, 3.5% mortgage, you're very reluctant to go and sign up for a 6.7% mortgage. So it's going to help when the rates come down a little bit. There's that pent-up demand. And you know what? People always have to buy and sell homes. I mean, there's reasons people have to move. And so there's always business out there. But I expect to see a good market in the third and fourth quarter.
Great. Are you predicting anything different for our region with Arizona, Utah, and Colorado? Or are we going to stay pretty close to the national prediction?
I think, well, that's a really good question, and there's where the crystal ball comes in. But yes, I'd say that Colorado and Arizona are already doing quite well in, the first part of July. And I do see that we will probably track ahead of the predictions, but I'm hoping that fourth quarter 5 to 10% increase in unit sales actually comes to fruition, because that's exactly what we need right now.
Yes.
It's been slow for a long time, and we know that.
Absolutely. And inventory is increasing, which is also great to see.
Inventory has been increasing a little bit, and we'd like to see more of that.
Yes, we would, for sure.
More choices.
Okay, so all the buzz, no mystery here. It's all about buyer agent commission. I know you and I have been on several meetings getting ready for the changes that are coming our way. What are your thoughts around buyer agent commission and where our industry is going on that front?
Okay, that's a good question. We've been on a lot of calls and a lot of meetings about this, and Colorado, again, I think is a little bit ahead of the curve. I like the fact that the Colorado Division of Real Estate has their own forms, and they create their own forms. There's not a lot of difference out there between, in the other markets, it isn't like that. In a lot of markets, the Association of Realtors creates the forms, or the companies themselves create the forms. And so in my other markets, we're actually having to go out and create forms to use, which are exclusive and non-exclusive buyer agency agreements. But in Colorado, you have a state-approved form, and we're making some minor tweaks to make it unique to our company. And so you guys are already versed at this, but we do plan to have a day of learning for all the agents in office, and early next week we're going to be meeting with all the brokers and going through the 12-minute buyer presentation, and going it over with your managers so that your managers know exactly what those forms say and exactly how to teach you to go out and use them. The one thing that I would say at this point is that, you know what, everything's going to be all right. And here's the thing. If you've been a listing agent, you've already been going out and being good at selling your value. You've already been going out. I've said for years that the listing agents are those agents that really have the talent and skills. They go out and they sit at a stranger's kitchen table and they tell them, and justify and tell them why they need to pay $20,000, $30,000 to sell a house. That takes skills. Putting a buyer in your car, you've had it too good for too long as a buyer's agent. You can't just put a buyer in your car and hope to automatically get paid 3%. You're going to have to defend your value. You're going to have to explain to a buyer why they need you, that you're going to negotiate that home on the best possible terms for them. You're going to look out for them every step of the way through appraisals and inspections and title and then closing. So there's plenty that you do, but now you're going to have to up front talk to a buyer and explain to them how the commissions work, and that you're going to be paid 3% to sell the home, and 2.5%, 3%, whatever it may be. But the point is that if the seller isn't offering that, then you need to explain to the buyer that they're going to need to offset that amount that comes in short from what the seller's willing to pay. And I would expect that sellers out there are probably going to understand this, and they're probably going to be more reluctant to just throw 3% across the board immediately. But if you have the skills, if you have the value, and you're confident in your value, you should be able to get paid just the same way you've been getting paid for years. So,
absolutely, it's all about educating both buyers and sellers. And the exciting thing is we have a lot of collateral coming to our agents that speaks about seller commissions and buyer commissions, how to show your value. So stay tuned. We have some really great collateral around all of that.
We've got your back. And by the way, I do want to say that I feel like you guys have great leadership in this company, and you have the best brokers in the business. And they've got your back. They're going to help you through this. And like I say, our top agents out there they've been successful in the past. They're going to be successful in the future. If I had advice to give to an agent, it would be rehearse, role play, and get this 12-minute buyer presentation down so that you have confidence when you go to meet with a buyer and you can defend your commission and go get paid for your work.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
so
you.
I heard some exciting news today. You're expecting your very first grandchild.
I am. I have 2 daughters, and my oldest daughter is expecting my first granddaughter in November. So.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
That
you.
is very exciting. The grandkids are the best part, I will tell you.
I'll have to tell them that you mentioned it
Yes,
on the air.
it's by far the best part. So let's see. I know that you ski. I know that you love to fish.
Yes.
And I think your favorite band is the Rolling Stones.
I saw the Rolling Stones just down the street here many, many years ago, 1981, I think.
Okay.
In Boulder.
What else should we know about Chris Jensen?
I'm a hard worker, and I really, I have a lot of gratitude for the things that have come into my life and helped me along the way. And I just like to get up every day and, look at the simple things that make me happy. And but I do. I love to ski, play tennis. I love the outdoors. I love to get in the sun as much as possible.
Okay, wonderful. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. It's fun to have you in Colorado and on the Mile High View. Is there any questions for Chris out there? If you have a question, please put it in the chat. We'll give you just a couple minutes to do that. And it's a granddaughter, right?
It's a granddaughter.
Okay. Todd, do we have any questions? Okay. If you do have a question, we'll get to it. Just put it in the chat. Again, thank you so much. And up next, we have, absolutely. Up next, we have, do we have Jen Bubb? Yes? We have Jennifer Bubb and A.K. Riley, both out of our South Metro office. Come on up, ladies. How are you?
We're good. Fight over the seat.
I was really expecting you guys to kind of dance up,
We thought about it.
but that's okay. That's
almost.
okay.
We didn't have time to choreograph.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. So we're going to be talking about geographic farming with A.K. Riley and Jennifer Bubb, both out of our South Metro office. So ladies, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into farming.
I'm A.K. Riley. I've been with Coldwell Banker, and I've been in full-time real estate for 8 years, always with the South Metro office. Started with you and then with Karen. It's been great. I have blended family. We have 4 boys, so I always say I live in a frat house because they're they'll be 21 to 16 in
I think
our house.
that's fair.
It's a frat house.
Yeah, that's fair.
Except for the girl dog. So, yeah, it's fun. It's a little crazy, but it's fun. Yeah.
And you have a partner.
I do, yes.
And a team.
Susie Warda, who's absolutely amazing, joined my team. So she and I were partners. She's incredible and is so good, and we're just having so much fun together. It's fun to have somebody to go through all the bumps with. So she's
Great.
amazing. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Jennifer Bubb, better
Hi.
known as Jen Bubb.
One word.
Tell us a little bit about you.
I started in 2013. Tammy was the only person who answered the phone when I was calling all of the brokerages. And and I've been with South Metro ever since with Karen, which has been amazing. And I'm an individual agent. I'm all on my own, so I do call my friend AK and various others in the office, which is amazing. I have a husband and 3 kids. Actually, we just celebrated our 25th anniversary yesterday.
Happy
So,
anniversary.
Yeah, we got married at 5, which is like so weird now. I mean, I know that's not like a thing anymore, but
Well,
you
it
know.
was then.
In the
Yes.
90s, it was totally
Yes, it
acceptable.
works for you
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So, and yeah, we have 3 kids, a 21, 19, and 16-year-old, and they keep us busy. And I just got in at 5 a.m. from a lacrosse tournament, and so.
Well, you look fantastic. I don't know that
Can
I
you
would
tell?
be that articulate.
Yeah, well, give
you
me
know.
a minute.
Okay,
I'll,
all right.
I'll start
That's fair.
babbling. soon.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about geographic farming. How long, we'll start with you, AK.
Okay.
How long have you been farming?
You know, I started farming right away. I live in my neighborhood. I've lived in my neighborhood for all over 20 years now. So when I started, I had a good network of people there already. So it was kind of a natural way to get started in the business of just doing open houses there, dropping off flyers because I didn't have money to mail them. So I would hand deliver all of the flyers to sections of the neighborhood at a time. And then over the last 8 years, it's really grown to include more events and monthly mailers. Well, not really monthly mailers, but they should be monthly mailers. And lots of other little tidbits that I do. So it's been great. And it took a little while to kind of see the results of it, but I stuck with it. And I would say probably about 4 years ago, it really started having some good returns for me. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
And Jen, how long have you been farming?
Pretty much out of the gate. And similar to AK, I lived in my neighborhood for, probably about 10 years before I got into real estate. And so right out of the gate, I'd take my 3 little kids and, in the wagon and put things on the doors and do the open houses and just, started very grassroots and built it over the years. To do more things and more events and things that actually cost more money, But in the beginning, it was very grassroots and just really focusing on that area because they're my people. They know me.
Sure.
So it was already had that level of trust built in. So it was kind of the path of least resistance to kind of get going.
Okay, wonderful. And I know from coaching you in the past that there was some pretty stiff competition in your neighborhood,
Yeah.
and you quickly took over market share.
Well,
Yes, you did.
yeah, I mean,
Yes, you did, and it was
Goes back
fun.
and
It was
forth.
fun to watch.
Yeah.
So I'm sure both of you have tried things that maybe weren't as successful. But what was the one strategy that really worked as you got more into your farm and more name recognition? What was that one thing that really took off for you?
Do you have something?
well, I mean, I would say it's a combination of things. I mean, it's very much layering farming. You can't just send out postcards or just, do, an event here or there. You have to kind of layer it. And what I found, the success that I've had in my farm, people will come up to me and they say, I see your name everywhere. Even if I haven't had a listing, in a couple of months, it doesn't matter because if I am holding an open house and they're getting a postcard and I do the yard sale, and I mean, I can go through all the things, but it's more just the perception. And so really, hitting them from all angles has been the most successful piece to me. But if I had to pick one thing, I think being really consistent with open houses in my farm. And I have people all the time ask to hold open houses for me, which I so appreciate, but I won't let them hold. There will be no open houses in my farm unless I'm doing it because,
Sure.
I mean, that's the face-to-face
Sure.
that
Yeah.
those people, finally I get to see the people who have been getting my postcards. And that, I think, is the biggest impact.
Well, and I think now your neighbors or the neighborhood expects to see you
Yeah.
at
Right.
the open house.
Right, for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
AK?
I think a very similar experience with my farming, but it's interesting because when I do the open houses, the number of people who come in and they see, oh my gosh, I see your face everywhere. And my response is like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I do that to you, but it works and they feel like they know me. And so we'll meet at an open house or at one of the events or something like that. So they see my name at the elementary school. They see my name every month in the newsletter with my full body embarrassing picture on it, like all the things. But I think like having the monthly newsletter ad, but you can't just do that. So it's sprinkling in everything else. But just having that response over the last few years of, I see your face everywhere. And that's when I said, okay, this is working.
That's
This is
great.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. With intention. Like
With intention.
everything that you're doing in your farm is with intention.
Absolutely.
So was there anything that you tried that didn't work? Like, I'm not doing that again?
I did a pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
And so I did the pumpkin patch, but with a pumpkin patch, you kind of have to get a lot of pumpkins because who knows, maybe everyone will show up or maybe they won't. And so I had 2 things of pumpkins delivered to my front yard and nobody really showed up. So I was like, rethink that. As far as, how it was perceived to the community, they got the postcard with the pumpkin patch. I did social media around it. The day of, I required my friends, you have to come and you cannot stay for less than an hour and a half. Like, I cannot be standing here in my orange pants alone. But, in reality, we did it. I got orange pants. It was fun. At the end of the day, I was like, I don't think, delivering 1,000 pumpkins to my yard is something I can do every year.
Sure.
Because then I had to, everybody I knew got a pumpkin. Just here, take a pumpkin.
Or 10.
But it doesn't matter if it's a quote unquote failure. It's more, what the community sees. Everybody was like, oh my God, your pumpkin patch. And I was like, yeah, it was amazing. It was awesome. You should have come. Really?
It was the only time
You
were gonna
should
get
have come.
It was a one and done
It's
on the
not
pumpkin
happening
patch.
again,
There we go.
so you missed it.
And the orange pants, one and done on those orange pants. Okay, so let's switch gears to events.
So sorry.
I think that plane ride that is catching
Yeah,
up with her
it's
at this
catching
point.
up.
It
Yeah,
is catching
it's
up.
gonna be fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I'm never like
events.
this.
What other events do you do in your neighborhood, in your farm area?
I do a ton of events. That's kind of my thing. Oh yeah, here's one.
Okay.
And actually, I know I've done it since I started farming, and I know you do a garage sale too. And I think we do it fairly similarly. But It's just another way to get out there in front of people. So I do a lot. So I do the garage sale. I do a tennis tournament every year. I've done the home tour, which I absolutely love doing, but it's hard to get people to agree to be on it. So I'm hoping to do it again this year. I've done, oh gosh, I can't even think of all the things that I've done. Oh yeah, here's the tennis tournament. So I do a lot of events. I feel like if you're going to farm, whether it's a geographic farm or a sphere farm or something like that, it's all about building community and being kind of the pillar behind it. So for me, that's hosting events, that's providing value, that's knowledge about real estate and other things. It's supporting the community, supporting the elementary school, raising money, all the things that really matter to that farm. And it should be authentic. So I've lived in this neighborhood. It works for me to support the neighborhood. And oh gosh, pop buys. I do a ton of pop buys. I handed out 1,000 sparklers, and I had to hire my kids to do it. But Susie knows. If she's watching, she knows. It's a big undertaking. But food drives. We do a food drive every fall right before Thanksgiving, and that's amazing. We've done shoe drives, all that stuff. So lots of events.
Awesome. Oh, and look at those two.
Those are
maybe
our
you,
husbands.
there we go.
Yeah.
So
we do
they're
a pickleball tournament.
cool.
And always have little things with our logos and names so that people, they love the t-shirt and my logo's on it, and they love the cups and my logo's on it, so that every time they go to grab a drink, they see it. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
Thanks. There's the sparklers.
There's the
Sparklers with the flags.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
The bane of my existence this year. Yes. Yeah. So
Well, thanks for sharing all of that. Jen, I know you got
I
a
brought
garage
no
sale.
visuals.
That's okay. You were on a plane. It's okay.
One of the big things that I started doing, actually before I got into real estate, which has been great, is I started a Facebook community. We call it a yard sale, but really it's just a place where everybody in the community asks questions and maybe sells, their things. And that's been really huge, to be able to be the facilitator for that online community. That's been big. And then I do, like AK does, I've done a community live yard sale for, I don't know, I think we're in our 9th year or something. And so there's, the logos on all the stuff that they get to prepare. And so it's all about just having them recognize my name, know that I'm here to support the community in all of these different ways.
Great.
Through the elementary school. I mean,
Sure.
it's all very similar kind of things.
I'm hearing lots of community give back,
Yeah.
which I think is huge. If somebody is thinking about starting to farm, where would they begin? What would your best advice be?
I think pick a farm. It doesn't have to be a geographical farm, and I've tried to tell people that a lot. In my mind, I don't think it needs to be. I think it needs to be a group of people who own houses, hopefully, or who will eventually buy houses, but a group of people that you already kind of have a connection with, whether it's a sporting thing or whether it's your neighborhood or whether it's your building or whatever that looks like. There's so many different ways to think about it, but as long as you already have a connection, you build on that connection, and then it's authentic, and you're not trying to force your way into something, because you have to be there all the time. So
Yeah.
that's my
I think
advice.
that the authentic piece is really crucial, because if you just go, I'm going to look and find the most expensive neighborhood that I have no connection to and just start, peppering them with postcards, and they're not going to be receptive to it. So whatever that, for me, it was really a geographic farm. Because when I started, my kids were in the elementary school, so it just made sense. I was on the elementary school boards, and so all of that stuff, it just made sense for it to be a geographic farm. But whatever it is, I think it really needs to be authentically your people.
Sure.
If
Sure.
if you go someplace where they don't know who you are, and it's just not going to feel real. It's going to feel salesy, and that is the key, because people don't like to be sold to. They like to
Right.
have someone who's trying to, bring people together, help them, and whatever capacity is. So yeah.
If we rewind a little bit at the very beginning, you guys talked about starting very organically and doing some things that didn't cost money. So what are a couple of those things that agents who are starting to farm might want to start with? with a budget in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think if there's not, and I've told a couple of agents this in the South Metro office, if there's not already a community online group for that neighborhood or that group of, I don't know, pickleball players of Denver, I don't know, whatever it is, see if you can start that, and facilitate that. That was huge for me. I mean, I started it before I was in real estate, and it was just fortunate that I could kind of switch gears and put my name on it as a realtor. But that costs nothing. Doing open houses in that community. When I first started, I would call I'm not going to say the other brokerage's names, but I would call them and say, hey, can I hold your open house? And sometimes they said yes. And I was like, okay. And they would let me, put my Coldwell banker signs all over the neighborhood. Cost me nothing. I'm a little kooky. But it's true. I mean, you just,
Right.
it doesn't cost a lot of money to put your open house. And I always say with open houses, I'm a big advocate of those. At the end of the day, if nobody comes in, but you put 15 signs all over the neighborhood, it's a win.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, sure, come in, talk to me, that's great. Just buy the house, even better. But the 15, 20 signs all around the neighborhood is where you're getting your value for your time. So.
Great. What would you like to add, AK?
I mean, I think farming costs money, so you just have to make sure that you're putting the money into the most effective places. So you don't need to hire a food truck, but you can go pick up some donuts and have donuts at a swim meet or something like that. Or if you're farming your church, you could bring, whatever it is. You can print out postcards, but you don't have to mail them. So you can put them in a cute little bag with, a little bag of candy or something like that, and pass them out yourself to each one of the houses. So you just have to make sure that what you're doing is going to see you the biggest returns. You don't have to spend all the money to do it, but you do have to reach out to them. They have to see your name at least once a month. So
At least
however
once a
that
month?
looks.
Okay.
I think. I mean, that's kind of what I was
At
always
least,
taught. At
yeah.
least once a month.
And it's either time, you're either spending your time, your, sweat and tears, or your money.
Right.
Nothing's free. You
Sure.
can't. So, however, so now I think we both do both.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money to do it. What we do
Right.
is a lot of money and a lot of time, but you can certainly start out with just the sweat equity doing it.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for all of those insights, but I do have a couple of, trick questions for you.
doing it.
Oh,
I am doing it, yes. I did give them a heads up that there may be a couple of
Oh boy.
not scripted questions.
let's see how this goes.
So, favorite book or movie?
Ooh. Oh, do you have an answer?
I have two favorite movies. I do not like, little known fact that I share with everybody
Okay.
is that I do not like to watch TV. I only like documentaries. It's weird, I know. But I will watch Back to the Future and 16 Candles over and over again for the rest of my life.
So good.
So,
So good.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
just watched Office Space last night again for the first time
Oh,
forever.
that's
and
fun.
that
Yeah,
was a
I like
good
that.
one.
Yeah.
I know. I
Yeah.
thought
The
that was at the top
stapler,
of my
yeah.
list. The stapler, the
Yeah.
swing one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one more.
Okay.
When you're not chasing children, traveling the world, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, is there time for that?
Well, there should
Traveling
be.
the world. I know. I know. I mean, I just like being with my people, whether it's pickleball. There's so little time, so I'm like, whatever you guys are doing, I'm coming. So I like hosting things. I like a beach. I'm not gonna
A
lie.
beach,
When
there
you
you
said
go.
don't travel the world, I'm like, well, that takes
Well,
out
no-
all the things that I like
well,
to do
yes.
for fun.
Yes, if
Yeah.
Colorado had a beach, everyone would be
yeah.
here. Yep.
It's
Okay.
true.
oh God,
Yeah.
can you
Jen?
imagine? I've really, in the last couple of years, tried to make it a point to do some things for myself. So I have a breakfast club with my girlfriends. I love breakfast. If you ever want to woo me, just buy me breakfast sandwich.
Okay, good to know.
Totally good.
I'll let Karen know too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I play tennis very poorly, but there's beverages after and good conversation. These are the things that bring me joy. I'm so sorry.
Oh, good for you. No, it's okay. So, any questions for AK or Jen on farming?
We have a shout out for Jen. Jen is a worker. She gets up every day and puts in the work and is a great leader in our industry. Keep it up, Jen Bub.
Keep it up, Jen Bub.
Wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
And there is a question, so as it relates to the money, right? You spend a lot of money on farming. Kind of how do you determine the budget as far as, I guess, your overall budget, or is it per event? And what's kind of the ROI when you realize it was either a success or not? So the money factor is what the
Yeah.
question is.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, for me, it's per event. I kind of experiment a little bit, and I've had a better ROI over the last few years because I've had more business come from it. So I've had a little bit more flexibility in what I can do, but I've realized that to keep it simple. You know, I'll do the tennis tournament every year, and last year I spent $800 on bringing in a Qdoba taco bar, and nobody ate it. So, like, why am I doing that? People just want to come play tennis.
Sure.
I buy a keg of beer and then some pizza, and they're so happy. Why complicate the matter? So I think I have kind of branched out a little bit and tried to spend more, thinking it would be better, and that doesn't accomplish what I need to accomplish. Accomplishing things are getting in front of people, providing something for the community, and keeping it simple. So that's kind of what I've learned with that. But the longer you do it, you know, I started off not hardly spending any money, and so the more I sold in the neighborhood, the more flexibility I had to do more. So
Sure.
it was a slow process.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I do a business plan sometimes December, but you know, fourth quarter, and plan it out. And you know, I mean, I just look at the numbers, and if I do all these things and I get to my goal, then it makes sense. You know, the postcards cost. I do the postcards every month, and they cost a fortune for things that literally people go trash. But, you know, just that 30 seconds every month of, you know, seeing my face or reading my name is worth it because, you know, if I get 3-4 listings in my farm, I mean, it's paid for. You know, I don't think that it's realistic for people to spend that much money out of the gate, but as it builds up, you can spend more money. Yeah, so.
Yeah. And I think consistency is key too.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want to start and stop and start and stop because you lose that top of mind
Right.
awareness.
Yep.
Like
Well, and
you
patience.
want to hear, I see your face everywhere.
Yeah, but it takes
Absolutely.
patience too.
Yes.
Because it
Yeah.
doesn't take a few months, it doesn't take a year, it takes a few years of doing it. So it's an investment.
It is an
And you have to see it that way if you're going to do it. You don't have to do it, but if you're going to do it,
Sure.
commit to it and have
And
patience.
that's why you have to be thoughtful about what your farm is too, because if you're dumping money into something where the people are just,
Right.
it's, you know,
There's no
they're
connection.
there's no connection, then you're just throwing money away.
Sure, I think that you have to love the area.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
you have to love
to be
the
invested
houses.
in
You
it.
have to
Yeah.
love the area. If you pick a farm that you have no connection to, you're never going to get there.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
People know.
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks so much, ladies. This was fun, and I can't wait to see those orange pants.
Yeah. They've been thrown away.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Up next, we're going to talk about Real Vitalize and the power of that, both with listings and especially in this market. So I'd like to welcome Sherry Cook. Hello, Sherry. And Lisa Sabisky. Sherry's an agent out of our South Metro office, and Lisa is here from North Metro. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So Real Vitalize has been part of our Coldwell Banker offerings for several years now, and it is an amazing program that allows a seller to tap into resources and funds to help update their home, maybe paint. You can do things like bathroom remodels, even a full kitchen remodel. It's a service that Coldwell Banker agents can offer at no cost to the seller, and everything is paid for at closing. So if you haven't visited the Real Vitalize materials, you can find those on desk. If you go to desk and click on Real Vitalize, you'll find all the information, some great talk tracks, how to register a listing as part of the program. So that's kind of the how behind it. Let's talk a little bit about the why. So Sherry, yeah. So how do you position this in a listing presentation, or what's your marketing for Real Vitalize?
I use the Revitalize flyer.
Okay.
And it's in my listing packet.
And I would say that probably 90% of my sellers are so excited when I bring it up. I mean, it's such a benefit, and it puts us like way above other brokerages in my mind, because my goal is, of course, to sell their home for the highest amount, so their proceeds are the highest, and to make it look the best. And so when I offer Revitalize at my listing, it's like bam, they're so excited.
Great. Great. Lisa.
We use, and I'm on a team, my husband, I have to give credit to him, he's fabulous, and we have another teammate, Christina Burns, and we use it in every listing also. We use a Moxie listing presentation. There's always a slide in there for that. We give them the hard copy also. I talk a lot about it because it gives them an advantage over other agents. It gives us the advantage. It started the month that we moved to Coldwell Banker, and Brian and I were the first agents in Colorado to use the program, so we've used it quite a few times, and gone through different vendors and know who I like, but it really just helps the seller be prepared. We also use it, and it's there to help them through their inspection. If they can't, if they don't have the funds to fix up their home, then the likelihood of them not having the funds to repair anything on the inspection, they can use Vitalize for that also. So it's always there. You should have it prepped and ready, because then it can go right into place to help them with an inspection item that might be a big ticket item.
Absolutely, and I think we're seeing more and more lengthy inspection objections.
Absolutely.
And some big ticket items.
Absolutely.
On there. And
Yeah.
so awesome that you use Real Vitalize as part of that, call it maybe a safety net, right? For
Absolutely.
sellers, if we get, some expensive repairs, or we're looking at expensive repairs, we can tap into the Real Vitalize program, and we can fund that up front.
Right.
So that is awesome. So I have known you ladies for a very long time, but there's probably people who don't know how long you've been in the business. So we'll back it up just a little bit. And Sherry, how long have you been in real estate? Tell us a little bit about you.
I have been a realtor for about 11 years. I'm with the South Metro office with Miss Karen. And on a personal level, my husband and I live on a ranch, and we turned our ranch into a horse sanctuary where we have adopted 12 rescue horses. So that's my passion. Besides, I count down to football season. I'm a huge Bronco fan.
Okay, go Broncos. We're all hoping for a great season this year. And your horses are beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And Lisa?
I have actually been a realtor for about 15 years. My husband 30, so we always take that. We always are 30 years. And our teammate, she is 5 years, so we always try to tout that we have about 40 years of experience, at least, to help our clients. Gosh, and I love what I do. I was a teacher before, and I had so many connections there. Brian got busy when the market took a turn, and it was just a natural transition for me to move into it. I love being in front of people, and I love being dorky and stupid, and yeah.
Do you have orange pants?
I do not
Okay.
have orange pants.
Okay, well, Jen knows where you could get a pair of those. Okay, so back to Real Vitalize. Do you ever, are sellers ever resistant to it, or any objections to the program, or, think that there's maybe something that this can't be, you're going to help me do this, or how do you talk around that?
I've had them, sometimes they'll think that it's more commission for me. And I'm like, no, this is a separate resource that Coldwell Banker offers, and it's basically just to make your house look the best, and then you'll pay for it at closing. So
A lot of them have said, what's the catch?
Yeah.
And there is, there's really no catch. The money is available to them, and they can use the amount up to our commission. Now, you have to have a full listing agreement in place, and you have to fill out the agreement, and it has to match exactly. If you miss something, they will send it back, and you have to start over and resubmit it. Now, you can't raise the price of the home, but you can raise the price of your commission. And you can go up to 10%. Okay. I'm like, woo! Okay. And they can borrow up to the amount of your commission, up to $50,000. Right. And so the only thing is they have to use one of our, which is Guardian Title here in Colorado, and they use our title company to close. And I mean, they have to choose a title company anyways. And you know, and not many sellers research title companies. A lot of them don't even know what it is until you really explain it to them. And the costs are no different than anyone else. So they're very competitive there, and Guardian Title does a great job.
Yeah, awesome. Part of that too is Guardian has the program in place. So we've done work on the home prior to closing. It's getting paid at closing, but it does not create a lien. On the property, so there's not that mechanics lien issue, which some other title companies, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, we've done work and we haven't paid people, and it doesn't create that at all. I want to just touch a little bit on the commission piece of it. The program uses the listing agent side commission to determine how much money that seller has to spend. So it absolutely does not affect your commission. The agent is not paying for it. It's just the mechanics of how much does that seller have in that fund to use as part of the Real Vitalize program. So let's talk about some success stories. Lisa?
Oh gosh, one of our biggest successes was was it the first time? I think it was the first time we used it. He was blind. And he was almost blind, and he had lived in his home for 20 years. He was a heavy smoker, and he had a bull mastiff that, of course, he couldn't see what was going on around his home. And so we went in, and he was going to move to Arizona to be with his mom. So Brian and I went in, and we put the program. We were so excited about it because what a gift! Where we came from was a good company, but it didn't have all these tools. At the same time, Real Sure came out also, and so it was great. And so we redid carpet paints. We had people come in. They had the roll-off dumpsters because he was able to just walk away from his home and let us manage the vendors that came in to take away the garbage, scrub the walls, repaint, recarpet, and gosh, I bet you we netted him probably $40,000 higher than he would have normally got. He was able to move away. We did everything, and then he passed away shortly, about a year after we finished. But it was he felt so comfortable with us, and he trusted us. So when you can bring in something and that's so good. People really appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Absolutely.
really an amazing story. Yes. Sherry.
Yeah.
I think you sent us some photos to
my
share.
gosh,
So we have some real examples.
Ooh. I'm like,
Okay, so let's take a look at before.
oh my gosh, yes.
So tell us the story behind the photos.
So this sweet family, they were referred to me, and unfortunately they had encountered a really sad medical situation, which then set them back financially, and they were just a month or so less from foreclosure. It was a family of 4, and they only owed about $90,000-ish on the condo. They were going to be homeless, and they had met with other real estate agents. Nobody would help them. So I came in, I had my listing presentation. I offered them the Revitalize program, and I said, I will get this condo sold. It's going to look gorgeous. You don't have to pay for anything up front. It'll come out of your proceeds, which there was a lot. And they were just crying. And so, well, you'll see the after pictures. So anyway, we came in, we packed the entire condo up. We painted, staging, new kitchen, flooring, everything from A to Z. We did new HVAC, and they ended up netting almost $300,000 and paid cash for a house, and now they have a home forever.
Nice.
It actually makes me cry.
Yes.
It was the best success story.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
all because of Revitalize.
Sure. Well, and an amazing agent too.
Another way that I utilize the tool is at open houses. I take that flyer and I print them in really nice paper, a really nice glossy presentation paper, and I hand it to everybody that comes into the door, because we're there to sell the home, but we're also there, to promote ourselves and our programs to help others. So this was another success. It was up in Erie, and I gained 5 sales and purchases from the presentation that I gave to the people that came through the door. There was 3 sales and 2 purchases from that flyer. So using it in your
Sure.
open houses is great, because they want to know what you have to offer. They're coming to look at the house, but you know what? Why not give yourself a plug?
Absolutely, and they're interviewing you too. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
congratulations. That's awesome. So another way to use that, just educating people as they're coming into open houses about different programs that we offer.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we got another miracle makeover.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and a little bit behind this story.
This was a senior that was referred to me, and the family said he had to, unfortunately, move into an assisted living ASAP. And he didn't have the time or the resources, so it wasn't a financial issue as far as updating the home. It was just, I don't have the time, I don't have the resources. So I came in and Revitalize. We used Revitalize, which he and the family were thrilled with, and we did new carpeting, new painting, staging, new flooring. Ended up in multiple offers, netted him an amount that he didn't think was even realistic. Now he's in his new senior housing. The family is so happy, again, because of the Revitalize program.
Sure. Congratulations. Awesome photos.
That was really
Okay, and we have one more. Okay.
Yes, okay, so this family, they were expecting and needed to move out of their home and move closer to family. And again, they're like, we know the house needs updates, we want to sell it quick and for the most money. So again, we bought in Revitalize, and boy, we did a total updating. We redid the kitchen, painted the cabinets, new countertops, new flooring, new carpeting, new light fixtures. We staged the entire home. This one also ended up in multiple offers, and they couldn't believe how much they ended up netting, and now they're in their new home with their new baby, near family.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Another great success story.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a blessing. It's really a blessing.
It is.
So thanks for sharing the stories and for sharing the photos. So a couple of things that I heard that I want to make sure that everyone caught. Staging. You can use Revitalize for staging, which is very important, in my opinion, right now. The home, when a buyer walks in, it has to look the best it can ever look from the very second that they walk in. So don't forget that you can use it just for staging. Maybe you don't need carpet and paint, but it could use some staging, some updates, and staging can make all the difference in the world. What's something else that you could use it for that maybe we didn't talk about?
Anything,
Like I said,
pre-inspections,
pre-inspection items.
inspection items.
They
if
can
that
do
comes
anything. They can do anything except structural work.
Right.
Okay.
Things that affect
in. Landscaping, yard cleanup, anything that will make the house look the best.
Great. The other thing that I heard too, Lisa, is getting to know the vendors, right? Know the vendors, know who to request.
Yeah, they come off of the vendors. Once you submit your application to Revitalize, then they send you, and you can get more than one bid. So I always give that to my clients, because it's important for them to have options. They may not like the first person.
Sure.
I have used a couple people that I was like, oh, they showed up, but they showed up their Uber dropped them off, and
Sure.
so I was like, well, and then some of the work the first time around, no, the second time, it looked like my 10-year-old grandson had done it. And I said, you know what, that is unacceptable. It needs to be redone. And Real Vitalize will not pay the vendors until it is approved by you or your seller. And so they don't get a paycheck until the work is completed in its entirety to a quality standard. So
Right.
that's really an important piece there. Gosh, like I said, you can use it for inspection items.
Sewer line
Yeah,
cleaning.
yeah. Things, of course, are costing a little more nowadays.
Sure.
So the money doesn't go as far as you would like. Years ago, we were able to redo all the carpet, the paint, the deck, everything. But now it's a little bit less that they get as far as their money will go.
Sure.
But as agents, we all know what sells a house best is carpet and paint.
Absolutely.
And is it redoing the kitchen? Maybe if they have the 1979 cabinets that have the grooves in them.
Right. Well, thank you so much. Let's see if there's any questions. Todd?
So there's a shout out from the South Metro office to everybody saying great job from Asia and others at their South Metro watch party. And then it says John McComas is asking, where do you get the flyer from? The Real Vitalize flyer. Where do you
It's
find
on
it?
desk.
Yeah, it's on
on
desk on the
desk.
Real Vitalize
Under
tile.
that, yep.
And there's all kinds of things that you can expand on and educate yourself on that tile.
And another question is, how do we get the list of vendors who we will work with Real Vitalize?
That's through the project manager. Once the paperwork gets approved, then the project manager with Revitalize will reach out to the vendors. I have worked with Revitalize for so many years, and I'm blessed that I have a great project manager now. I've got contractors and stagers and everyone that I work with. So I actually have a great team with Revitalize, which is awesome.
Great.
There is also a link on the Real Vitalize tab that will give you a list of the vendors in the area. But if you have a vendor that you really like work with, I've had a vendor go to Angie's List and say, just sign up for that so they can be a part of the Real Vitalize team. Because it's a plus for the vendors also.
Sure. And that is a great option if you have somebody that you really love.
Right.
Any other questions?
We have a farming question. Can we go back to farming? And
Sure.
we do have the camera on, Jen and AK. So the question coming in is regarding farming, and if somebody's already farming your neighborhood, is it a good idea to start farming as well?
So I had that experience when I first started. There was an agent who heavily, and still to this day, heavily farms the neighborhood I farm. And I would say that, you have to look at the certain situation, but I just went for it, and what I found was that the community and the farm, they like to have choices. If there's just one person coming at them all the time, I don't think it's a bad thing to have choices, and I do different things than that person does. I don't, I'm not doing the same thing. I mean, we both do mailers, but just, kind of looking at what they do and seeing where there's some holes, and just giving, that community another option is not a bad thing.
Okay. How about AK? Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. There's no reason that you shouldn't. You just have to know what's your ROI going to be on it. What are they already doing? How can you do it different and better? And what's your connection with that community? Are you really tied into that community already where you can kind of use that as a leg up, or is it a new community and maybe that agent lives in that community and you don't, but you really want to get in there? Then you might want to rethink it and find somewhere else. So that's my 2 cents.
Fantastic. Back to you, Tammy.
All right. Any other questions, Todd?
Let me just check to see if anything has come in since.
Okay.
It looks like we're all set.
All
Squared
right.
away.
Thank you, ladies, so much, and you could just stay here while we
get
wrap up. Yes.
Or surprise question.
Yeah, the
Yay.
surprise
They get
question.
tricked
The surprise
Gotta make it
question. So,
fun.
favorite band?
Oh, he's not really a band. but Josh Groban, I'm obsessed.
Okay. All right.
Actually, my dog is named Groban, so there you go.
Okay.
One dog.
All right.
Gosh, it's hard to pick one because I love music. I'm a huge Prince fan, huge, and I've seen him. I saw him in concert like 6 times.
Fun.
But right now, my favorite is Chris Stapleton, and how can you not love Chris Stapleton because he's
There you
pretty
go.
awesome.
Yes,
So,
he is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, ladies, so much. A couple of takeaways. If you are not familiar with Real Vitalize, check out the tile on desk. Tons of information. Start using it. You never know on inspection items. It's a great tool right now, especially for sellers. As inventory goes up, there's more competition, and we want to look the absolute best that we can. So that is our show for today. Thank you so much for joining in. I do have a couple of housekeeping items I'd like to go over with you. As many of you know, Scott Peterson is doing an all Colorado contract class on Monday the 22nd. The attendance was capped at 5,000, and that class is capped. It's virtual, but I know a lot of our offices are having watch parties. So check with your success coach if you're having a watch party in your office. Please attend. Scott Peterson is amazing, and he will be going through all of the contract changes. There are additional contract changes that they have moved into this new contract that they were holding off until January, but they are doing all the changes at one time, as opposed to doing some now specifically around the settlement and then doing some again in January. So you don't want to miss that contract class. As Chris Jensen mentioned, we're going to be doing a Colorado Town Hall announcing our Day of Learning events in every office, going over our buyer bundles, buyer commission talk tracks, pathways to home ownership flyer that we've created, and everything that you need to know to really demonstrate your value to the buyers out there as we move into some of the changes. And I will say for Colorado, changes are small. We've been doing this for several years. We do buyer agency here, and we have some amazing agents that know how to demonstrate their value. We have lots of exciting news coming to our Global Luxury members, lots of events coming up, including our experience in Vail. So if you're a Global Luxury agent, please watch your email for those events. And we do have right around the corner our CB Elite event, celebrating our top 3% agents in the company, and that is also right around the corner, invitation only. So for all of you out there that are absolutely killing it in this market, thank you all so much. Thank you to everything that you do at Coldwell Banker. I appreciate you more than you know. I hope you're having a fabulous summer, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.